Good afternoon. What you're going to see today is a little notes of economy and how economy functions in different countries. So if you follow along, I'll take you through the lecture. First of all, the economy of a country is usually affected by the resources that exist within that country. And there are a variety of different kinds of resources. It's not just things that you might think of as natural resources. But those are the most basic. So we're going to start off with environmental resources. The environmental resources in a country are, of course, very important. Uh, Primarily, like for the people to eat, you need to have some agricultural land. So you could have over here your farmland. You might also have forests that they could use for fuel or that they could use for constructing their homes. Along with farmland, you need to have a source of water. So part of the environmental resources that would be important would be things like rivers or the amount of rainfall or the groundwater, which we also call aquifers. Certain countries, especially in the Middle East, which we've been studying, rely heavily on fossil fuels as part of their economic strength. So things like oil, coal, natural gas, these are what we call energy resources that they can either use for their own economic activities or that they can use them as exports and sell them to other countries. The final environmental resource would be the minerals that you could find under the ground, things like metals, iron, gold, etc. So that's one kind of resource. But we also have resources that are non-environmental. And one of the main ones that you need to see in a country to have a strong economy would be the human capital. Human capital refers to the skills and the knowledge of the people who live in that country that they can use to do better in their economic activities. So you need to have, for example, the knowledge of how to farm. Um, You might also look at the education, the literacy rate of a country, which is going to increase their human capital and make them better able to do their jobs. And you're going to have things like skills and training. These could be skills that might not require like going to school, but they could be useful for everyday life, like how to fix a car, how to operate a bus, how to set up an internet connection. All those skills are important for an economy. And the last part of your human capital is just the workforce that you have. So if you have available labor in your country, that's going to allow you to um, use your resources to create products and to work in factories and so on. The last kind of resources that a country has is what I call the infrastructure. And the infrastructure are things that they have built over the years that allow the economic activities to function more smoothly. So infrastructure is usually expensive and it usually takes a long time to build it, and it's usually used by everyone. So our first example would be your transportation system, such as your roads, your railroads, and any kind of bus systems or subway systems so people can get around, transportation systems. Equally important to that would be your water systems, both the delivery of the clean water and the taking away of the sewage. If you have good water systems in the country, it's going to be easier for everyone to survive. And of course, you need an electrical system that includes power plants, power lines to deliver electricity to people's homes and businesses. Uh, Another part of infrastructure that's important are the buildings that are used by everybody, such as the schools and the hospitals, or the factories where you use to produce and manufacture goods. Those are all things that are expensive and have to be built up over time. And your last set would be your communication networks, which you're going to need for businesses to be able to function. So used to put up here like, telephone lines, but now I'm talking more about things like your cell phone towers and your internet connections. Those are all parts of the resources that affect a country's economy. I did want to add in one more thing, and that is that you can't really have a country that is going to work very well unless you have a stable government. So I'm going to add that in as a second part of this area. So the economy is affected by the resources, and the economy is also affected by having a stable government. If you don't have a government that's functioning, then you are certainly going to have a lot of problems being able to keep your economy going. So this is our first part of the web, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the video now so it doesn't get too long. And I'd like to encourage you to tune in for parts 2 and 3, where we talk about jobs and economic systems.